Hello, yogis. Welcome to Sunday Sutras, your weekly dose of yogic wisdom. I am Kelsey Delane, yoga mentor, Reiki master. I teach yoga teachers and yogis throughout Orange County how to infuse yoga philosophy into their lifestyle. So welcome. I'm joining live today from Core Power Yoga because in about 30 minutes, I'm also leading a goal setting workshop in person today. So that's exciting. For those of you joining live, thank you so much for that. As you show up, if you could give me a thumbs up in the comment section to let me know that you can hear me, that would be fantastic. So there's a couple reasons why it's so helpful to show up live. Number one, I feel like I'm not talking to myself. So hey, Melissa, if you could give me a quick thumbs up in the comments to let me know you can hear me, that'd be awesome. And also, in addition to not feeling like I'm talking to myself when I go live, I also know that you get more out of this if you're able to show up live, because in real time, you can ask questions, you can ask for clarification, you can communicate with other people that are live as well. So I really hope that this becomes a rich dialogue. And part of my goal for 2018 is more connection with you. So that is why I'm committed. Even when I have a workshop at 11:30, I'm making it work. I'm showing up live here from Core Power Yoga. So welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. Because you are here, I know that you're committed to infusing yoga into your lifestyle. So you have at least the beginnings of an understanding that yoga is a practice that is way beyond the physical postures of yoga. And part of how that shows up in our lives is how we set and execute goals. So today, that's what we're talking about. In the beginning of the new year, I know it's top of mind for a lot of people, so welcome. With goal setting from a yogic lens, I want to start by pointing out a couple of pitfalls why our goals flop, right? Why we struggle with consistency, with execution. And first, really has to do with the mindset. When we use goals to create another way to measure our worth and value externally, then we're setting ourselves up for more of the same thing. Samskaras, if you're familiar with that term, in Sanskrit, samskara is a habit. It's something you do often, you're good at. And we have individual samskaras, but we also have cultural samskaras. And one that I see we all share in the culture that we, in this community, is the desire to evaluate ourselves through external measures. I am so a school person. I loved it because I got grades. Like I could actually see, how am I measuring up? Am I successful? Can I feel proud of myself? And I used my grades as a means for validating my worth. So I often miss that because in, for instance, a marriage, there's no grading system, right? I can't just check my grade and say, how am I doing as a wife? In parenting, that doesn't exist. And I crave that. I crave the affirmation and validation that evaluation gives me. And if we are not careful, the samskaras, the habits that we have, whether it's a personal, unique habit to you, or it's a habit that you share with the larger community, if we are not conscious, we will continue to do things the same way. So knowing that about myself, knowing that I get a sense of value and esteem and worthiness from external measures, I can recognize that my approach to goal setting needs to be evolved from that. If I'm using goal setting as another means of evaluating myself externally, then I am over-identifying with Prakriti. Prakriti is the part of ourselves that is always changing. It's not the truest, highest version of you. The truest, highest version of you is Purusha. So when you're connected to Purusha, when you're setting goals, that's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of understanding that regardless of the outcome, your worth, your value, your lovability, your place in the world, those things are not at stake, whether or not you get the outcome that you hoped for with the goal. So that brings me to the second pitfall in goal setting, is being outcome oriented. It seems maybe straightforward that when you're setting a goal, you're looking at the outcome. But what I want to offer you is that there's another way to set and execute goals, and it's action-oriented. Action-oriented goal setting puts way more of the power in your hands. Here's an example. If you, let's say, want to lose 10 pounds, if you set the goal as losing 10 pounds, then you'll either lose 10 pounds and feel successful, or not lose 10 pounds and feel like you failed or let yourself down. That's an outcome-oriented goal. A more empowered approach would be to select a goal that is about the action, the behavior that you can commit to. So if you want to lose 10 pounds, perhaps the action-oriented goal is to drink X amount of ounces of water a day. So you're choosing a goal that is within your power to accomplish and is not reliant on an outcome that is often beyond our control. So if you are having an aha moment, I want you to give me like a thumbs up in the comment section, so I feel like I'm not just talking to myself. I can see Amanda, you're live. Andrea, you're live. Melissa, you're here. Hey. So if that resonates, if you get that, if you're like, okay, I see the difference between outcome-oriented and action-oriented goals, give me a thumbs up. When we set action-oriented goals, we're making a commitment to ourselves. It is not about our worthiness. It's about our choice to commit to action that is empowering. So when we make the commitment to a behavior that we know uplifts us, then we can, hey Trey, thanks. When we make a commitment to the behavior that is uplifting, then we can let go of the outcome, because we can celebrate the commitment to the action. And every time the action is executed, every time the action is completed, we celebrate and praise the action. And then the outcome, we get to practice surrender. Ishvara Pranidhana, letting go of the results. Practicing detachment from the outcome is so freeing. I know when I posted in the Sutra Sangha Facebook group about, or the workshop rather, event, about whether or not you have obstacles that show up when you set goals. And one of the obstacles was things that are beyond your control. So that is indicative that perhaps you can shift even more to action-oriented. So sure, there's things that are outside your control. If you set a goal to take 3 yoga classes a week and you show up to a 6 a.m. class and the teacher's a no-show and that was beyond your control, and then maybe that means you can't take a class that day, yeah, that was beyond your control. But what's in your control is your commitment to the behavior. So the way that we commit to the behavior is by choosing a behavior, a habit, a practice of action that is clear, measurable, congruent with your lifestyle, and we schedule check-ins for self-reflection. Okay, so your goal needs to be clear. So clear also means specific. If you set a goal for yourself to get healthy, that's not a goal. I'm just gonna let you know right now. That is not setting you up for success. Getting healthy is not a goal. Getting healthy is a desire, it's an intention, it's a vision for yourself, but it's so incredibly vague. What does healthy mean? What kind of health are you talking about? How do you personally conceive health? And it's not measurable. So if you perceive health as a certain endurance level in terms of running, then you could measure it in terms of your ability to run a certain distance, right? You can measure health in the amount of joy that you have when you wake up in the morning. So getting healthy is not a successful goal because it's not clear and it's not measurable. And the odds are, if you set this goal, this super vague goal, like get healthy, then the odds that that big, super broad goal is congruent with your lifestyle is probably really slim, because getting healthy as a goal means that you currently consider yourself not healthy, right? If your goal is to get healthy, then you're putting yourself in the category of not healthy. And if you're putting yourself in the category of not healthy, then your lifestyle is probably not congruent with a healthy lifestyle, right? Because our habits create our reality. So if you want to get healthy, saying that that's your goal isn't congruent with your lifestyle. What you need to do is choose concrete, clear, specific, measurable actions that you want to take in a particular frequency that you can evaluate as you go. I believe that each week or month is a fantastic timeline to check in with yourself. So right now, if you already have goals for 2018, because we're well into January, I want you to type in the comments goals. So I want to know you already have goals or a goal that you've established. So you've already established some goals. If you've already established some goals, take a moment or a goal to reflect on the quality of that goal. Is it clear and specific? Can you get more specific? If it's losing weight, then there needs to be a number. Melissa has goals, yay! So it needs to have specific, clear, it needs to be specific and clear, and it needs to be measurable, okay? So evaluate those qualities. And then ask yourself if it is congruent with your lifestyle. Here's an example. If I set a goal to do 60 minutes of meditation every morning, that is not congruent with my lifestyle. I have an 8.5-year-old that I need to get to school. I work more than 40 hours a week. And I'm growing a baby, and I have a marriage, and I have friendships. Me meditating for 60 minutes a day isn't congruent with my current season of life. So if I set a goal that's that large, I run the risk of setting myself up for frustration and producing mala, the stickiness, the residue, the feelings of discomfort that come when we don't hit a goal. So the best way to support yourself towards success is establishing a goal that fits in your life, meaning that you start small. When you start small, you can celebrate the wins. And when you celebrate the wins, you increase prana. Prana is positive energy. It's that sense of life force and vitality flowing through you that motivates and inspires you to keep going. So we want to set these realistic, congruent with our lifestyle, small wins in place often so that we can celebrate them. So hopefully if you do have a goal, it's a goal that is measurable either on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And I want you to schedule right now in your planner, in your phone, set an alarm, whatever way you want to schedule a check-in with your goals, your action-oriented goals, okay? So take a moment, write it in your planner, set it in your phone, at least once a week, check in with your goals. And the kinds of questions that you can ask yourself when it comes to the check-in is, number one, did I complete the behavior, the task, the action that I intended to complete with at least an 80%, 20% ratio? So that means 80% of the time, you're nailing it. You're executing your goal. 20% of the time, life happens, okay? 80-20 rule. So that's one of the questions you ask yourself in your reflection. Am I executing this goal 80-20? Follow up that question with, how am I feeling? How much prana do I have around this goal? So this takes some true honesty with yourself about the thoughts and the feelings that you have around the goal. When you're answering this question, you can check in with, did you celebrate your successes? If you celebrated your successes, how did that feel? Did you share your successes with other people? And if you did, how did that interaction make you feel? So I want you to check in with your level of prana. So if you could imagine like a fuel tank, like a gas tank, that is your prana tank. It's your positive energy tank. How much prana, how full is this tank relative to this behavior that you have, okay? So the third question that you can ask yourself in your practice of reflection is, could I refine this goal? Could I refine this practice, action, behavior to better support myself? So you're giving yourself the opportunity to marry the ability to commit to an action and give yourself room to be flexible, okay? So when you marry that ability to commit to an action and also give yourself the freedom to refine on a regular basis, to check in and refine, then you have adaptability and you can support yourself with love and gentleness as you execute these goals. So that is all for today, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me here live at Core Power Yoga today. I'm so excited to jump into some depth in these things that we talked about in the workshop that I'm leading right now. If you have questions or you want to share and celebrate your successes, please do so. I would love to hear what you're working on, how you're working on it, and how I can support you in building more prana as you reach your goals. So much love, yogis. Hope to see you very soon. Take care.